Heading into this year's offseason, the Las Vegas Raiders had more questions than any team should ever have in any given year. And to their credit, they did a great job of providing multiple answers. Some of those questions were given the best answers possible even. Head coach and general manager questions, they were answered with Pete Carroll and John Spytek, and it really doesn't get any better than that. Quarterback and running back questions, they were answered with Ashton Jeanty, the head and shoulders best running back prospect in an insanely deep running back class, and Geno Smith, who's unanimously considered a top 15 quarterback, to some top 10, including PFF, who has Geno Smith as the 10th best quarterback entering the 2026 season. Even the wide receiver room got answers with Dante Thornton and Jack Besh coming in, two guys who have completely different games but complement each other as well as two guys possibly can. Now, while all these position groups did find answers throughout the offseason, there is still one that entered the offseason needing an answer, and they still find themselves needing an answer more than ever, and that is the cornerback room. The cornerback room was addressed this offseason with additions such as Darian Porter, a third-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, and Eric Stokes by way of free agency, but these two guys really add more questions to a cornerback room that already had a multitude of questions. That is not to say that these guys can't be answers. Darian Porter looked pretty darn good in his last season in college, but the reality is he only started 6 games at cornerback. That is a question. And Eric Stokes is a former first-round draft pick. However, he's done anything but live up to that draft status, which is exactly why the Packers let him walk this offseason. It does not mean that Eric Stokes can't live up to that potential, but it does mean at this point he hasn't at all, and that is a question. But this video doesn't really have anything to do with Eric Stokes. It doesn't have anything to do with the depth at the cornerback room in general. This one is going to focus on the starters, and if you guys want, I will make an additional video on the cornerback room as a whole, the depth and the starters combined, and what the outlook looks like, what to expect, that sort of thing. But in the meantime, this one is just going to be about the starters, or the projected starters rather, since obviously we don't know. It is only May. There are multiple people fighting for the starting jobs, obviously, but at this point in time, I feel pretty darn comfortable saying that Darian Porter and Jacorian Bennett are who I predict to be the starters, pretty comfortably at boundary, obviously. And why do I think this is going to be the case? It's based on everything I know. What Patrick Graham likes, their skill sets, what they bring to the table, what Bennett did to produce last year, that sort of thing, how Porter produced at his last season in college. I think his intangibles are going to translate well at the NFL level, and while I do believe that to be true, it does not change the fact that Porter, being he only started 6 games at cornerback last season, remains a question mark for the Las Vegas Raiders. And so does Jacorian Bennett for that matter, who did enjoy a fantastic 2024 campaign, but the reality is that was only a 10-game stretch, and his rookie season, the season before that, was 14 games full of struggle. Now, that doesn't mean Bennett won't pick up where he left off heading into the new year. In fact, I'd even go as far as saying it's more likely he does than he doesn't, given that 2024 was filled with a lot of success. It's his most recent season, therefore it's his most relevant season heading into the new year. But his struggles in 2023 cannot go unnoted, and the reason is because at this point in time, the reality is Bennett has had more games where he's struggled than games where he's had success. What does that mean? Success in 2025 for Bennett is anything but a guarantee. Ultimately, it's another question mark at the cornerback position. The last thing I'm going to say before we get into the film is this. I want to make this clear. Having a position group littered with questions is absolutely not the same as calling that position group bad, saying it needs to be improved, or anything of the sort. It just means there are questions that we don't yet know the answers to. After all, although Porter only started 6 games at cornerback in college, he performed so well in those games that he secured himself a Day 2 selection. However, is it a crazy thought to think that the guy who only started 6 games at cornerback in college isn't yet ready to start at corner in the NFL? That if he just gets thrown into the fire, struggles await him? Absolutely not. The same way it's not a crazy thought to think that there's a chance Jacorian Bennett might perform closer to his 2023 season than he did to his 2024 season. Because again, at this point in his career, Bennett has had more games where he's struggled than games where he's found success. It does not mean that Bennett is going to struggle next season at all, but it does mean thinking that he might is a perfectly rational thought. And if you guys are interested, most players that we've mentioned already in this video early on specifically, we have full film breakdowns and other extraordinarily detailed videos on. That includes Dante Thornton. We have a full film breakdown on him. check that one out after this video. Make sure it is after this video, but I will link that in the description for you guys. And we have a video we put out this week on Ashton Jeanty. It's Ashton Jeanty, the fit, the film, and the facts. Everything you need to know about Jeanty and the Raiders. I do mean everything. The fit, Jeanty's game and his historic college seasons, all the records he's broken in college, how his game is going to translate to the NFL, how running backs with his skill set have produced in the NFL, even when they have bad offensive lines, in some cases, the literal worst offensive line in the NFL. All of that information and more. I will link that in the description. Get ready to watch that one too. You're going to learn a lot about Jeanty and just what to expect during his rookie season. But with that out of the way, let's roll out the film. I am going to stop the background music as we get into the film. And by the way, guys, let me know what you guys think of the background music. I added it. It's something new, so that way it keeps the flow going the whole time, and it's not just listening to me talk without any melody going on. And I am going to leave it out in this section of me talking too, so you can kind of compare it. Just drop a comment saying your thoughts on it. And even if you guys don't like it, drop a comment saying you don't like it, whatever. But just let me know your feedback on it. And we're going to start with Darian Porter as we roll out the film and start talking about what he brings to the table. The first thing that needs to be talked about when it comes to Darian Porter is the measurables, because he, just like his teammate DeCamerion Richardson, who's also fighting for a starter spot, is, as far as their measurables are concerned, built in a lab. Porter stands 6 foot 4 inches off the ground, and he has a wingspan that puts him in the 95th percentile, and he knows how to use it too. We will see that later in the film. When it comes to his athleticism, it is off the charts as well. He runs a 4.3 flat, and it's not just his 40 time, it's that the game film supports that speed, it's that he knows how to use that speed, it's controlled speed, but he's not just quick, he's just an overall elite athlete. And he wants to use that athleticism every chance he has, he wants to use his speed every chance he has. His motor is really as high as it gets, just like Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, just like Patrick Graham likes. He's going to fit into that defense, no problem. Just like Pete Carroll likes. Everybody likes that throughout the league, right? A play like the one on screen right now is going to showcase all of these things, the speed, the athleticism to track down the guy, but it's also the motor. He is the furthest player away from this play. By the time it starts developing, he's still the one that ends up making the play. That's because he has the talent to do it, the natural God-given athleticism. But like I said, it's not just the speed that makes him a great athlete, it's the other things too. Look at the hip movements right here. They're fluid movements, they're very natural, and these things allow him to contort his body in ways that others can't, move his body, position his body, turn it around very quickly to make plays on the ball. And you take these things that I'm talking about and you pair it with the intelligence. This guy was a wide receiver for 3 years, swapped to cornerback on the fly, had so much success that he was a day 2 draft pick despite starting only 6 games. The natural instincts on the field, you either have them or you don't, and they are important, and Porter has them in a big way. The ball skills and coverage, you put all this together, he has the full package. He really does. You can see on this play on your screen right now, I have no idea how Porter goes about this and makes it happen. He has the instincts to keep moving, intelligence to keep reading the quarterback's eyes, goes back in coverage, backpedals, high points the ball in coverage with his great coverage skills, his wide frame, the 95th percentile wingspan that we talked about, makes this interception happen. And these things you cannot teach. You just cannot teach it. And you can understand why he was a day 2 pick despite the inexperience at cornerback. And notice that I use the word inexperience and not rawness. I'm not talking about being raw, because when I watch Porter's film, I don't see a guy who's raw. I see a player who is very much fundamentally sound. He does so many little things right at the cornerback position, and if I had to guess, this is probably largely attributed to him playing wide receiver for 3 years, so he kind of got a taste of, slept behind the enemy lines, got a taste of what it's like to play that position, so he kind of uses that to his advantage, and he does things like he plays exceptionally sticky coverage. This is largely because he's patient. He doesn't bite on many double moves or anything of the sort, and if I had to guess, the reason for that is because his recovery time, he has elite recovery ability. It goes back to his athleticism and his IQ, and these things make it so if it is a double move and the receiver has an advantage because they cut out and Porter wasn't ready for it, well, his recovery time is fantastic. He just makes up for it like that, and it's no big deal most of the time. And these things aren't Darian Porter exclusive. In fact, for the most part, most of these pros describe the pros in Jacorian Bennett's game as well. And we are going to transition into the Jacorian Bennett tape from this past season to support a lot of these things, just as we did with Darian Porter. It all starts with athleticism when it comes to Jacorian Bennett as well, and just like Porter, he also ran a 4.3 flat. But listen, the 40 time is just a number. What's important is what your game film shows, and the game film shows that Jacorian Bennett is fast. He plays every bit as fast as that 4.3 number is. And this paves the way for other pros to come out, such as the recovery time that he also shares with Darian Porter. His recovery time is pretty impressive. If you beat him, it's okay because he's back in your face in half a second. You can get a step on him all you want. He's just going to catch right back up. That shows time and time again. And you couple that athleticism and recovery time with instincts and ball skills, and you get a player who is able to break up 22% of passes his way this past season. That is the 5th highest percentage among all cornerbacks last year who broke up at least 6 passes. And while these traits really weren't on display at all during his rookie season in any way, they were consistently throughout his entire collegiate career at Maryland. And at Maryland as well, throughout his last 2 years, he was able to record a combined 5 interceptions. So he was able to show some playmaking ability as well. That hasn't translated at all at the NFL level, not even in his 2024 season, but he has showcased the ability to do it, and not for nothing, but he does have all the tools to be a playmaker. Now, I've been pretty adamant throughout this video that saying concerns, questions, and inexperience is absolutely not the same thing as cons and negatives. However, these two do have cons and negatives to their game, and they are in large part the same cons and negatives to their game, and that is a scary proposition when we're talking about both starters having those same issues. The first thing is going to be the tackling. These are two players who struggle to be efficient tacklers. Darian Porter has shown that he can go to correct form sometimes and be rather efficient doing that, but he just doesn't go to the form too much. And Bennett hasn't even shown that. He's actually been a downright bad tackler since his rookie year. And although he did take many steps forward in 2024, he actually got even worse as a tackler. During his rookie season, Bennett missed 17.9% of tackle attempts, and this was already a bad number to start with, but his 2024 season missed tackle percentage, it's downright embarrassing. Bennett missed 28.6% of tackle attempts this past year, and I mean, that's just a downright unacceptable number, and I am sure Jacorian himself would be the first one to tell you that. The second thing is, this is a downright bad block shedding duo. I mean, they are just downright bad. There's no other way to even say it. All you have to do is run to the outside. You can pick on either corner, Bennett or Porter, and you are going to have success. It was a common theme with both of these guys last year that on running downs, offensive players who were assigned to block them, wide receivers mostly, they would basically just stand there, and these guys couldn't do anything to get around them. That's especially concerning when you consider that these guys are athletic freaks, and they can't use that athleticism to get around blockers, and when they would get around blockers those rare times, well, they would just miss the tackle anyway. That may be a little harsh, but I think it gets the point across pretty darn well. And I also think it's a good reason why Tyree Wilson is going to earn more snaps than people think at edge this upcoming season. Because among all edge rushers on the Raiders roster, Tyree Wilson is by far the best one when it comes to setting the edge, other than Max Crosby, of course. But that's a topic for a different time. And if you guys are interested in that, interested on a Tyree Wilson video, a film breakdown, and his outlook for the 2025 season, just drop comments saying that you would like to see that, and hey, I'll get right on that. But in the meantime, let's get back to the cornerback duo. So I am looking at the time in this video, and it is over 13 minutes already. I don't want to drag this out too much longer. I don't want to waste anybody's time, so I am going to start to wrap it up. And I will say this about the cornerback duo. When it comes to them, you can expect a few things. 2 are pretty darn positive. 1 is very much negative. And I'll start with the 2 positives. The first thing is the elite athleticism, and this is, I mean, if you put every cornerback's athleticism into tiers across the NFL as far as starters go, I mean, really anybody, these guys would both be in the A tier. So, I mean, you got 2 starting cornerbacks who have A tier athleticism in my eyes. It really doesn't get any better than that in terms of athleticism. And the second thing is, these are 2 guys who really have the potential to form a lockdown cornerback duo. They truly do. They both have great ball skills, great instincts, and the instincts are unteachable. And they both have them. They both clearly have them. And the ball skills, the high pointing the ball, all these things, and the recovery ability that comes from the athleticism, all these things, it really does put them in a position where being a lockdown cornerback duo is 100% within the realm of possibility. Now, the negative, which is a pretty darn big negative, not just because it's an important thing, but because they are exceptionally bad at that. These guys aren't just bad at these things, but they are exceptionally bad at them, is what's going to happen in the run game. Because it's not just shedding blockers that they cannot do. I mean, they just do not have the ability to do it, it seems, which is insane, especially for Darian Porter being 6'4". It's odd, and it needs to be better, especially for Porter. There's no excuse for it. At least Bennett is 5'11", but Porter is 6'4". There's no excuse for it. And again, in the rare event that one of these 2 do shed a block, neither one of them can tackle anyway. But there is still a lot to like with this cornerback duo, and there is a chance that a lot of questions that are within this cornerback room, they can answer in a positive way. And that is going to do it for this one. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It is just like the Ashton Jeanty one in the sense that this is not a dedicated film breakdown. Although there is a lot of film breakdown in this video. There is a lot of film, and I did do a lot of breaking it down. A lot of it was on screen, not necessarily verbal, but I did break down a lot of their film regardless and showcase it. And I hope you guys are liking this kind of video. Like I said on the Ashton Jeanty one, if you guys do like this kind of video, just drop a comment saying that you did, so I know what you guys like and what you guys don't, because I'm trying to do this for you guys. I'm trying to appease you guys, you know? So just let me know if you guys like this, or if you like to see the more traditional dedicated film breakdown videos that we have on this channel. And in the meantime, I'm Alex Monfrida. You guys can catch me on X. You guys can follow me. It's just my name, at Alex MONFREDA. Shoot me any questions you have, or any suggestions, or anything you want to see on this channel, and just drop a follow. I am the deputy editor of the Raider Ramble. I cover the Raiders in full, and you can give the Raider Ramble a follow on X too, at the Raider Ramble. And in the meantime, if you guys haven't already, just drop a sub on this video, leave a like, comment, whatever, and it is the best way to ensure that content in general keeps coming on this channel. And we do have a lot of things lined up, but just it is the best way to ensure that things keep getting lined up. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the love and support you guys have been giving, and I hope everybody has a great day. I will catch you guys on the next video.